Ladies and gentlemen, you know, when people think of crown jewels, they picture velvet boxes, royal guards, and high-security vaults, not a plastic shopping bag. But according to one former royal valet, that's exactly what Denmark's King Frederik IX once used to carry a part of the nation's crown jewels. Yes, you heard that right. The treasures of the Danish monarchy, in a plastic bag. Now, before you imagine the king strolling through Copenhagen with diamonds in a grocery sack, let's rewind and find out what really happened, and how this quirky story became one of the most talked about royal tales in Denmark. This all began with Anker Andersen, a former royal valet who served the Danish royal family for 40 years. In his memoir, Kammertjeneren, 40 år I Kongehusets Tjeneste, Andersen shared dozens of behind-the-scenes moments. But one stood out from all the rest. He recalled a time when King Frederik IX, the sailor king with a big laugh and an even bigger heart, handled things his own way. According to Andersen, the king once carried parts of the crown jewels in, yes, that humble plastic bag. To him, it was no big deal. Just another day, another task, and maybe a bit of royal humor. The story spread quickly. It had all the elements people love. A touch of royal rebellion, a glimpse behind palace doors, and a good dose of old-fashioned Danish practicality. Fast forward to today, and you can imagine how this story sounds to the professionals who now care for these priceless treasures. When Thomas C. Thulstrup, the director of Denmark's royal collections, was asked about the tale, he smiled, and then set the record straight. With a touch of dry Danish humor, he said, "I can confirm that it is not handled like that today. And I have never transported the crown jewels in a plastic bag." And with that, everyone in Denmark breathed a sigh of relief. The nation's historic gems are safe, no shopping bags involved. Now, when we say crown jewels, we're not just talking about fancy accessories. Denmark's kronjuveler are centuries-old national treasures, priceless jewels that have seen kings, queens, wars, weddings, and coronations. They include the famous rose stone set and several diadems that are still worn at state occasions today. They're kept under museum-level security at Rosenborg Castle, where temperature, lighting, and even humidity are carefully controlled. When they're moved or used for official events, the procedures are as strict as those of a national museum, involving professional conservators and, of course, security specialists. So, the days of grab a bag and go were long gone. But here's what makes this story special: it's not just about jewels or protocols. It's about how times have changed. Back in King Frederik IX's day, the royal household was smaller, more personal, and sometimes surprisingly casual. There were no PR teams or digital security checklists, just trusted staff, loyal attendants, and a king who believed in a bit of humor and humanity. And that's probably why this story touched so many people, because it reminds us that even kings can be practical, funny, and a little bit unpredictable. This tale, half history, half legend, tells us a lot about royal life through the ages. It shows how monarchs, once surrounded by informality and trust, now live in a world defined by transparency, protocol, and preservation. It also teaches something deeper: that even the grandest traditions are built on human stories, laughter, loyalty, and sometimes, yes, a plastic bag. So next time you visit Rosenborg Castle and stand before those sparkling Danish crown jewels, remember this. There was once a king who didn't mind getting a little practical. A king who might have looked at a glittering diamond necklace and thought, "Oh well, this will fit nicely in a bag from the corner shop." And maybe that's the perfect Danish touch: elegance and simplicity, side by side. Because sometimes, even royal history comes wrapped in plastic. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe my channel.